Hello everyone, this is Shiv Shankar. Let me demonstrate you quickly the GRC Audit System by Pinnacle Tech UAE. It has the global risk compliance and audit management system functionalities. It does have also the AI components, and let me just take you through all modules one by one. So the first one is GRC library. It has the processes and the data of audit management system by each industry type, and it is so flexible that we can get the AI powered update as well. So what does that mean is that for your organization, you may be manufacturing organization or a healthcare organization or technology or any other industry type. So if any of the industry type is not there in this solution, you can add your industry here and then mention the AI that regarding data privacy and protection, add all the processes that are globally being practiced. So same way, if it is an IT organization, you may have something specific to those areas which are being practiced in your organization, and this process updates the library. So what does that mean is that it's a centralized solution where we are keeping the global best practices for any of the given industry. So if I say financial services, so the first process that the solution brings from AI itself is credit risk management. So for credit risk management, what are the controls that are also being pulled up and being mentioned, that what are their objectives and what is the procedures to control the credit risk assessment, and at the same time what are the evidence that a process must be having, like credit reports, risk assessments and rating documents. And finally, what is the schedule of assessing the credit risk? So it can be monthly, weekly, daily. So this entire list of processes that must be followed by each key audit area can be distributed among many groups. That means, like, there might be some processes that are related to governance, there might be some processes that are related to risk management, some processes on compliance, some on audit management, or generals. So general processes are those processes that can be pulled in any of them, like the process is applicable for compliance, at the same time the same process is applicable for governance as well. So once this data that is there as a template available in your organization, that gives you enough substance to carry forward your audit management system or GRC audit system to next level. So moment you have that, for each of the process you would get that what is being should be performed by the department manager, by the internal auditor, daily, weekly, monthly, on each of the areas which we've been talking on the overall governance, risk and compliance. So that these all information are then further being grouped under requirements, like for board oversight and governance. This is one of the uh, key audit area. We must need these processes and need to be sent to board on what basis, like on weekly, monthly, daily requirements and all that. And the same way, it also have delegation where the process must follow certain delegation. So it must have a delegation of authority, and those authorities must be followed while having any kind of approvals, be it expense or be it investments on some certain capex or non capex or opex expenses. So finally, with all those, the global benchmark for financial services related to board oversights are what? So this one of them is loan approval rate. So for loan approval rate, the industry benchmark is 70%. So what is our benchmark? What is your organization benchmark? That will be calculated for the dashboard purpose, so that you can measure your performance. At the same time, you can manage your audit management system. So it may also have the details relating to the data sources, like on what basis these percentages are being calculated, it gives a reasoning also that why it is showing 65% based on the data uploaded by the user. So this entire set of library can be updated also. Like you can say that update the loan approval process with the latest terminology. So you process it, so GRC library will be updated. At the same time, you can export the library for the approval from the management. So that is a global library under the different areas which is compliance to all the requirement of GRC. So then we once initiate the process or implementation in your organization, we it starts with adding your companies. So your organization might have one to many companies. All those companies can be added manually, or it can also be added using your organization chart. So if your organization chart in CSV or PDF or Excel is very detailed, which shows all departments, all managers, and all processes, so this enables us to upload your organization structure. That would end up showing that in your organization how many departments are there, and each department has responsible department manager for the purpose of GRC, and the same time your internal auditor and external auditor. So these can be manually added also based on your information. And then you have here risk levels associated to these departments and the audit frequencies as well. So with this information, we end up having your organization information, though the process starts like having a company GRC documents. So what I shown previously was GRC library, which is the global library. But at this moment in your organization, what applies to your organization is what important to you. So that's the reason you have here company GRC documents. What does it do is that it starts with an auditor sending an engagement letter. So when the auditor send engagement letter, it it gets an information on the department manager's menu that somebody is requesting you to upload all the documents relating to the processes that are there, which you need to upload as per the auditor's requirement. So in the department manager's view, he need to upload the document. So how do? He go in the upload document, and he can upload documents for the different policies they are following, standard procedures they are following, best practices they are following, any legal requirements they are following, and ISO requirements they are following, and IFRS requirements they are following. So what they do is they just choose their company, and then the category that for governance their criteria is relating to a policy, and that policy can have some upload document which can be in their downloads or wherever or whatever folder, and then that gets uploaded to the system. So system categorize that document under the specific upload group what they have chosen, and based on that it allows these documents to be read by internal auditor and read by the AI as well. So AI would read this document and press update GRC. So what does that mean is AI would extract all the processes that are there in the document of the company under the category of governance or the criteria as policy, and take these processes to your company GRC library. So which means that we are converting your documents to your processes that needs the GRC system to be followed. It may be an audit compliance, or it may be external audit requirements or internal audit requirements. So entire processes would be updated to your company GRC library as a step one. So what we covered so far is that your documentations, what you are following in day out, would be uploaded to our system. And then our system is also having our global library. So what you can do here is you can choose your company, and under that company you choose the year you want to do the audit planning, and say link and copy the GRC library. So what does that mean is that that you would be having the processes copied from the global GRC library that has an AI update. At the same time, you have company GRC document processes, so which end up giving a holistic, finalized version of your organization, where you have a choice that in our case, let's assume loan approval on credit assessment, risk management is not applicable. So you can remove that process which does not apply to you, but it may apply to a global financial company. But at the same time, you can view that what all tests that needs to be performed on the control test quarterly or monthly, and what are the things that needs the evidences, and then for that what are the requirements. So against each requirement, what are the mandatory requirements, and then you see what are the delegations of authorities, the KPIs that would be measured. Like even in this case, board meeting attendance rate is one of the KPI that is getting measured for this process. And then benchmarks are what? So against benchmarks, what exactly we are comparing to? So these all processes are being finalized here, where you can add and delete also, edit also, to go to a finalized version of a company GRC library. So once that is being performed, we get along to the next module called audit planning and scheduling. So here you can choose your company and choose a year and say generate plan. So on generation of plan, the system would bring all of the company GRC library processes and create the plan which covers your scheduling as well, like on what date what process would be audited. And then against each plan type there will be different plans, like there can be a governance process, there can be compliance process, there is risk management process, and there is an audit management process. So you can view them and check what are the things that are being, it's actually a copy of your company GRC library to audit planning. And the good thing about it is, like, it takes your processes to a schedule, so which goes as audit plan approval. So for 2025, this is the plan, and against this plan you can just say approve or review. So let's review the governance plan. So in under that it will show that these are the processes that would be having this schedule. So board oversight and governance has a schedule to start on this date to this date, delegation of authority to from this date to that date. So it grouped the audit schedule based on your processes, and then by that it also calculates like how many days we have planned this to be finished, and when the final report will be issued, and who's responsible for that, and you can edit and add the schedule also. So once this schedule is there, you also have a new functionality where we say what is the risk assessment matrix relevant to the processes. So against each process, the system would score between 1 to 10, and there is a weightage defined for each of the process, and then this is editable as well. So like complexity of operations gives a score of 7, which weightage is 15%. So the percentage is fixed, but the score is flexible, and we gives us the weighted score. So this gives us for each process what is the risk level, so that we target high risk level processes first in the audit planning, and medium later stage, and the low one we can have in the end. So these all things are being finally covered under the schedule, and this schedule would then be available for annual audit program. So what does that mean is that once you approve any of your processes, like this I approved just now, this would go into an audit plan, annual audit plan, which is a downloadable PDF that speaks about one particular domain. Like in this case, governance is one which I approved, and for governance these are the 3 requirements that needs to be fulfilled by this date by a specific manager, and what action you are going to perform on that is here. So the action would end up having some of the findings that would have observations, and then end up giving us a final audit report that would be submitted for final approval. So that would get into reminders, and to have an action plan for the key risk that got registered. And the same way, that entire audit workflow closes and monitors in the dashboard. So like how many risks are still due, how many audits are findings are still there, what is the trend among other company to company risk levels, and the same time you may have here recent activities. So that these all goes into a risk management system independently as well, where you may have end up with accumulation of critical risks that must need some budget, and the mitigation rate is being calculated, and that process would have different dashboards, which starts with risk by categories, and then risk by different level, and then finally you have here inherit by residual risk and categories. These all are being automatically calculated behind the scene based on the data that are being performed and comparing to the benchmarks. So these dashboards would end up with risk heat map, trends, and then finally you have scatter plots and the risk velocity. And these all processes are having embedded dashboards on the data as well. So this is the overall processes, though the AI part also has a functionality of reading documents, converting them to processes, and then what the review comes from the business user, like he gives a finding, or he gives the detailed review on the requirements. So these all get analyzed also by AI, and compare the documents with the standard processes, and gives the appropriate score also. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much for your time.